Thank you so much. This is Saturday morning, and we are on our very first special session. That is where we are going to discuss about everything other than theory and demo about Power BI. It will include the way today in today's session we are having PL 300 scenario based question as well as the recap of everything that has been done. In some sessions in next coming weeks, probably there will be the experience session from the subject matter experts from the industries. There are a few people I have talked to. So a couple of them from they are financial analysts at the moment, how they are using, how they are utilizing their knowledge about PBI as well as what extra they are learning. Suppose you guys can talk about it, like how in a practical experience they work with the financial statements or financial data sets. So there is one person to whom I'm going to invite in coming weeks. There is also another person who is like she has recently joined, but how she is using her knowledge about PL 300 and Power BI in her current job. So whoever is working live at the moment and what type of a project in different industries been asked for. So that, for that purpose, we will also have the experience sessions. Along with that, in future sessions, we are going to have the resume review. Resume review represents how you are supposed to build your resume. I know, I guess somebody or one or two people are there, like they are from very um, like I guess they have never built the resume actually. So for them or for every other who is not who don't have the proper resume built or they don't have it with respect to the ATS format, so we will discuss or we will have the session for that as well. And one session will be for LinkedIn optimization. So whenever this other parts of the session will not be there, for example, experience, LinkedIn, resume, portfolio, etc., that time we will have the session like today, where we will do the doubt clearing, we will do the talking about scenario based questions and the PL 300 topics. Okay. And those PL 300 or scenario based questions will depend on the topics that has been done till that point. So everything in the last 2 weeks we have finished. We will be talking about that. It is, you remember like how many of you are from this Maharashtra State Board kind of a case? We have 12th syllabus, and along with that we have to prepare for MST CET, which is a bit extra difficult than 12th exam, right? You have to understand it just by thinking about the questionnaires, and you have to answer that quickly out of the MCQs. So the similar pattern, like I always have felt, like this is how your PL 300 and usual Power BI Power BI what study is similar to. So Power BI is more theory and more practical that you have to do. PL 300 is more objective. You just have to think about everything in your mind, like what can be the scenario and what should be done in this case. And you just have to ping the answers. You just have to click the correct answer from the options. Okay. So think about in that way. Like you have understood the theory. Now we are just going a bit advanced to think it logically in your mind. Um, because at the end of the day when you are giving the examination you will not find anybody, like you are not going to do practical. You have to think everything in your mind to answer to that question. Okay. Okay, enough talking. Let me share my screen, and the very first part of the agenda today is figuring it out with respect to the recap. So this is one new activity I'm thinking and I'm planning to start here. So I hope everybody prepares their own notes, but I'm thinking along with you, we will also build our own notes for the class. Whatever is happening in the class, whatever the topics we are covering. So it will not be in a very detail, but what has been done and what is the overall idea that we have, I will start writing it down in this page. So once we will reach to the last day of our session, I will share complete notes from here to the PDF file to you. Okay, so that we all will be aligned, like like how we have discussed, what are the key points. So I can also make pointers to that. So who can tell me, like you can put it in the chat if you remember. So what was the very first topic when we started learning the whole process of Power BI? What was the very first topic? You can talk about it from this last Monday session or last Friday session. It is up to you. Correct. So first of all, we started with question called as what is data? Let me increase the size overall. Is it visible for all of you? Is this font size okay for you?
Yes.
Yeah. Thank you. So what is data? Data is the raw information that you gather from different places. Different places represents, it can be anything. It can be your Google Sheets, it can be anything coming from your client, it can be anything that you are arranging yourself, your expense sheet, your bank statements, everything is data, whatever is getting collected. And that's why there is a next question, that is types of data. And in that sense, we have structured, unstructured, and semi-structured. What is the example for structured data?
RDBMS.
Is
Excel.
CSV file.
Correct. Excel, RDBMS, CSV files. No, CSV file will be in under semi-structure, I guess. The concrete table format, anything in solid table format with rows and columns. Unstructured,
Videos.
Image, audio, video.
right. Videos, images, posts, etc. And semi-structure are JSON, XML, CSV, which doesn't have the exact look of the table, but you can still understand. Okay. If you read, I have showed you how the usual, I have showed you like how the JSON, XML, CSV file looks like. And even though that is not exactly in a concrete design, like it is not in a exact table, rows and table column format, but still you can understand what is it says, right? You can understand like this is a table, like this is like number of rows, this is the data inside it, etc. So that is your semi-structured. Why are we understanding this? What was the purpose of understanding structure, unstructured, and semi-structured? Because with Power BI or with any business intelligence tool, understanding the data where it is coming from, it is very important. Right now with Power BI desktop, we will need a organized table structure. Okay. But in future, if you are going forward to the big data industry, if you are going forward to the data scientist role position, so in that way, it might not be structured always. It will convert itself to the semi-structured positions, to the unstructured cases. Okay. All right. After types of data, we have understood types of analysis. First of all, data analysis. That is the analysis of the data. What to find from the given data. And then we talk about types of data under it. What are the types of data? And what is, like, write it down both, like type of data and as well as what is its purpose. How did we understand that part?
Descriptive, diagnostic, predictive, and prescriptive.
But
Descriptive.
types of data you've already
Sorry, types
mentioned.
of data analysis. Yeah. So descriptive, what does descriptive says? What do we find when we are using descriptive? Descriptive
What has
represents,
Actually problem.
What has happened?
it is about
What-
what happened.
Yeah.
On the basis of historical data. By using descriptive, we will tell them like what has happened so far. Okay. What has happened. Requirement is, it is historical based data. Like data from the past. Last moment, like it is 8:13 in the morning. So 8:12 to the past, every time, every moment, even the seconds, 8:13, the past seconds and the past, everything is historical data or past data basically. And on that basis, you are going to describe it as a, you are going to use it as a description for your data analysis. After descriptive, what was it? Diagnostics.
Diagnostic.
And it says why this happened. Diagnostic. Why did it happen? So the way we go to the doctors and they tell us like why something has happened to us, they diagnose us basically. So you can think about this in that way. Diagnostic represent, if your data is there, you have figured out like what has happened with it. Then your next task or next purpose is like why these things probably have happened. So scenario for this is, consider you are in a particular sales industry, suppose, or let's consider one another scenario that is very practical and you can even relate to that. So usually in our family we buy and we go to the ration stores to buy something, right, for ourselves. Those ration stores, we like from like lifetime, like from your parents from to you guys go to the same kirana store and you buy certain stuff for yourself. That kirana store is getting same customer, they are getting same revenue from particular people. Sometimes some months it will be more, sometimes it will be less. Okay. But suddenly in some time, like suddenly like last year or 1 or 2 years, since 1 or 2 years, the number of customer count has been decreased for that particular kirana store, as well as the revenue amount has also been decreased. Why probably that has happened? We have to diagnose this scenario. The same kirana store, the quality has not changed, everything is as it is, the amounts has been same, he keeps giving the same offers or he keeps talking about the same things like the way we have been doing for the past, like all the time. Then why the number of customer or the amount has been decreased, revenue has been decreased? So one of the possible scenario can be, why, if you want to find out the why scenario is, like there is a DMart kind of a place that is been open in your area, because that's something has happened in my area actually. There is one place from where people used to buy kirana from the same store, like from their parents time and then their like current time, etc. But now there are two like DMarts. Some place like it is hardly at 2 or 3 kilometers away from my place, suppose. So everybody in this area like tries to go to those DMart locations instead of going to the kirana store. So the things that they usually could buy from DMart, like from kirana store, they used to buy from the kirana store. Now they are going to the DMart just to get the lesser price than that. So because of this shift, because of something else, because of some new entity coming into that area, the amount, the revenue has been decreased for the current kirana store. Because of this analysis, like how this like there is certain wave, like why the analysis, like because of this analysis process, like the amount has been decreased, we got to understand that part. Then we figured out like why this happened and stuff. This includes the diagnostic process. And sometimes it is not just about data. You cannot every time, you are not going to find out the diagnosis just because of the given data. You sometimes have to figure out it because of the news, because of the external factors, what is there and what is not, and then you are going to get your answers. So diagnostic represents that why did it happen. If that is declining, you have got the issue, you found out like what has happened, then your next procedure is why this happened. And again, this data is responsible with historical based data. Okay. I don't know like if this particular example made sense to you or not, but like was it making sense to you when I'm like this DMart kind of a scenario and with kirana store? Yeah. Like not everybody is having this case, that's why. But I hope like DMart is like very well known thing in India at least, so that's why. After diagnostic and descriptive, which is based on the past data, the next task is with the prescriptive. So in prescriptive case, we have to give some prescription. Like what should we do? Like right, as Prachi has mentioned, like what is the best course of action that we should take? So prescriptive means what should we do? What is the best course of action? Let me write down the same. What is the best course of action to take? So you have found out the issue, you know what is supposed to be done, and like now you have to figure out what is supposed to be done. So this is something for future. Okay. Like what can be done from our side so that this scenario will get better for the future. And after that prescription, we are going to talk about predictions. Along with the prescriptive analysis, we have to finally give them that what can be the predictions after that. Like you follow, like this is the diagnosis, I am giving you the prescription, and in some time this is the prediction, like you are going to reach to this place. So it is similar to how you go to the doctor, they diagnose you, they predict, they prescribed you, like this is what you are supposed to do, and this is what you have to eat, and in like 3 or 4 days you will be all good. So that is a prediction that he gives. Not every time his prediction will be correct, but at least 80-90% of the time that is right. Correct. So that is last part, which is predictive. What is likely to be happen? What is likely to happen in future? Again, this is something for future part only. The reason for explaining these types of data analysis, it is not for the it is not for the PL300, but it is something for you to talk during your interview process. If you can figure out why you are doing that in analysis, or how you are creating your report on the basis of these types of data analysis, it is going to help you get extra credit during your interviews. Okay. And these are the types of data analysis we have talked about. And after this part, the actual topic started, that is business intelligence. It is the process, technologies, strategies to get the best business decisions from the given data. The process includes collection, manipulation, storing, analyzing, visualizing, and finally analyzing, and then decision making process. Decision making. The process includes, that is all. So in business, like when somebody says like they are from business intelligence, it doesn't mean they are working on any software in total. It is a process, and inside this process, we are going to use a variety of different tools or software to solve that. So business intelligence, inside we are going to find out multiple things, that is going to be like multiple processes that we are going to use to solve our business decisions, to solve our business issues. Okay. And inside that, the main software that we are working is Power BI desktop. Power BI is the BI tool. You can call it as a BI tool. It is also can be called as a reporting tool. It can also be called as a data visualization tool. So any one of these terminologies is going to say the same thing. Okay. So data visualization tool, which helps in collecting, analyzing, visualizing the data to get the business decisions. So why do we need Power BI? Power BI is useful because at the end of the day, you cannot always make the decisions out of the data, which is in the format of rows and columns. We need something which is visual, and on that basis, we will understand and we will remember stuff for the long time. The people who are at the management level, the people who are executives, they will not waste their time just by looking at rows and column of data. They will expect you to show something in visual so that you will look at it, so that they will look at it and they will just make the decisions faster, right? So most of the time, the reports that you create, the big charts, the big designs of the report that you build, even the presentation slides that you make, it is not for you and your colleague. It is always for somebody which is at the higher positions. Okay. So that's why Power BI as a software we use to create this overall report. Okay. Under Power BI, there are three main tools. First tool is Power BI Desktop. It is a Windows-based application which is a developer's tool. And it is 100% free of cost. Power BI Desktop is the software that we are working on right now. Okay, and it is 100% free. Nobody, like, you cannot say like my DAX function is not working or I cannot do the data modeling because I don't have a paid version. I have heard of these statements from the people. They get confused with the term for service and for the desktop, and they say that they don't have the paid version, so how do I work with the reporting and stuff? So it doesn't make sense. Power BI desktop is 100% free software. The payment starts at Power BI service position. Power BI service, it is a cloud-based platform, and the link for it is www.powerbi.com. How to open that account? I have already mentioned that we are going to do it in the future. Like, because if you don't have any particular account, if you don't have the organization email ID, you will not able to open this account just normally. So let me tell you about it in future, like whenever we will need this Power BI service process. So it is a cloud-based platform which will be used to sharing and collaboration of the report. And this platform charges money in the form of subscription. Subscription examples, subscription license we can call. They are free account, which is like yours. We will go about it in more detail in future lesson, whenever we will start the subscription, like we will start with the Power BI service. But for now, just have the high level idea about it. So subscription licenses are free, which is what we are going to have, where we will publish, like you will see everything, but you will not able to share your report, collaborate with others. But you are going to find, you are going to utilize all the interface. After free account, there is a pro account. Pro means you can share your report. It is an individual based account. Okay, individual means I have a pro, you have a pro, and I will share my report to you. But if I have a pro, you have a pro, Sagar don't have a pro, suppose Sagar doesn't have a pro, so I can share with you right now, but I will not able to go to Sagar to share that with him. Okay, because he is having a pro. Actually, he will not able to open that report at all because he is at the pro. He is not at the pro account. And last one is the premium. This is where the amount gets charged. Okay, there is like a huge amounts that we have to give, but the type of services are also good. We will talk about it in future about like what are all these services that Power BI service claims to have and how we are going to utilize it. But trust me, they are like they charge the money, but they give that quality of products as well, like all the stuff that they give. Okay. So Power BI desktop, Power BI service, and third important tool is Power BI mobile. Okay. It is what do we call it? It is available on both Google Play Store and App Store. Again, it is a free software. It is a free app. These are the main tools, main softwares under Power BI. Power BI service is a website, but Power BI mobile and desktop, these are the software and the app. And Power BI service is a website from where we can like manage everything, like where your account is open, from where we are, to whom we have shared and stuff. These are the main softwares. Different components that we have talked about is Power BI desktop. What are the things that we have talked about Power BI desktop? When I have showed you, App Store is for iPhone, Nishant. So Google Play Store is for Android, App Store is for Apple iPhone. I hope that is the case, right? Anybody with the iPhone? Do we call it as an App Store only, right? Good. So under Power BI desktop, when we are when we understood the architecture, what were the main terms that we have seen under architecture of Power BI desktop? What are the things that is in flow? What is the very first thing that we don't have? When Power BI desktop doesn't work with Apple OS, then why it is in Apple Store? Because we don't have to create anything with the app. We have to just share it with others. So not every executive is going to have Android phone just to use their Microsoft app to work. Okay. Power BI desktop as a software is a very big, but as an app which is just used to share or collaborate with others, it is very small. So that's why they have both the softwares, both the apps to be used. Okay, I'm asking about architecture. How's the flow go? Like how's this flow happens with Power BI Desktop, which is the very first item that we have to maintain. I have showed you the images. We have went through this whole architecture. What is the very first thing that we see? Give me the flow about this architecture. Collection of data, collect, but this collection happens what? Like what do we call this collect in architecture? That is a data source. So first of all, data source, that is a collection. After collecting the data source, it goes to Power Query Editor. After coming to the Power Query Editor, we do the data modeling. Actually, data modeling will not be the part. This is like very smaller areas. But after Power Query Editor, we build the report, that is Power BI Desktop, to create report. Then this architecture publish the report to Power BI service. Once your report is done, next Power BI service will share your report or convert it to dashboard to share it with end users. That's how usually the overall architecture flow goes. If you think and if you see the image that I have shared through the slides also, you are going to find the same. These were the important items. We got to see like there were multiple data sources from where data has been collected or that is data is coming from. After data source, we have like we went through the Power Query Editor where the collected data, we clean it. That is Power Query Editor, which we already have started from the last lecture. Then Power BI Desktop, like after cleaning the process in Power BI Desktop, we create the report. And after finishing the report, it goes to publishing process. So we publish it to Power BI service, and this Power BI service at the end, it is going to share this report to the end users. There is again something new here, which is called as a dashboard. But this dashboard we are going to understand at the very end. Okay, when we will start Power BI service. This is all part of Power BI service actually. So just if you don't understand any particular term, hang in there. We are going to talk about it at the very end. Okay. So this is the overall architecture that we follow when we are talking about Power BI Desktop. And this in this architecture, the very first item that we have seen is data source. And data source represent the process called as get data. Okay. So these are like 7 steps to follow and create the final report or to understand the overall reporting tool. Like any reporting tool, I can guaranteedly say this same statement every time, that if you are following such steps, like if you are following these particular steps, it is not specified by Microsoft or anybody else. It is just the observations. You are going to find the same observation by yourself also. Like what exactly happens when you build the report or when you want to learn any new software. So if it is a reporting tool that you have to learn or you have to understand how to be used, so you should go with these steps. Okay, that is my recommendation. You will understand, you will learn that software fast. Okay, every reporting tool is same in process. Only difference is with their interface, like probably their language and probably with their interface. Like in Power BI Desktop, we are having views. In Tableau, there are different sections where you are going to go. Okay, so every software is different in that way, but the process is same. So if you go with the process, you will find that software easy to understand. Okay, and that's why I have the understanding of almost 4 to 5 different softwares. I didn't learn separately each and every software. I directly start using it because I know like how I have to understand that process to create the final report. So if you are understanding and learning, if you are understanding and learning Power BI right now in this way, so it will be helping you in process to understand any other new software as well by yourself. So get data is your extraction process, and this extraction means getting the data from different locations, data from different locations, or sources. Second process in this flow is that we are doing right now. It is transformation. That is transforming or cleaning or manipulating, or what do we call for this terminologies more, or ETL process for the collected data. Okay. So whatever we have extracted from multiple places, we cannot say entirely, like we cannot say every time that this data is perfect. We always have to perform something else from our own end. Okay, so that is transformation process. We have to, like, we should go through this process, even if you know that my data is clean, but still, always make sure that you are going through the transformation at least once. Means just cross-checking if my data is clean or not. After this, we are going to understand the concept which is called as modeling. We will go about it in more detail in future. After modeling, that will be the concept of visualizing. No, that will be calculations. Okay. How do we do it in Power BI? We will see it and I will add the names in future. Okay. After calculation, it is visualization. After visualization, it is distribution. Like once your visualization is done, we can distribute our report. And at the end, automation. So the term automation means once your report is ready, you are going to automate it in a such a way, like so that every time your data changes, your report is also supposed to change with that. Okay. So you have to make sure that your data is ready in the backend every time. Your like your report is ready with the latest data. So automation is going to do that process. We will understand that part at the very end. Okay. So these are going to be the 7 steps that we are going to follow and use to understand this overall Power BI desktop system. And at the moment, this is all our basics. Okay. Like what we are going to do, what is the overall Power BI desktop. And one by one, when we have started using it, yes. So that is the part of, like as I said, Power Query editor ke andar maybe we have the model views, report view, total, etc. So this particular, like there is a one question has been asked to me directly, that is about Power BI gateway. So Power BI gateway is also there, but it is the overall part of the system, and that we are going to understand when we'll, and that is what come under automation actually. So when we will understand automation, so we are going to use Power BI gateway that time. So I will write it down in a more detail, but at the fundamental level, at the high level, this is all important stuff. Okay. Next, we understood about types of views. First view is report view. Then there is a table view. And there is this, what is the last one? Model view. There is also DAX query view as well, but it is something which is not that widely used at the moment, unless and until we are writing down very big DAX queries. So report view represents every view has a specific task. In table view, if you stay in a table view and if you say ki why I cannot see the report, why I cannot see the chart or visualization, it will not make sense. Okay. Each view is having its own purpose. Report view will only show you the report. Report means charts, graphs, text values, KPI cards, everything will only happen in report view. Table view will only show you the data in the rows and columns. Model view will only do the data modeling. Okay. If you've never heard of the model view concept, so don't worry, we will see it in the coming lectures, but still, model view means connecting the tables, and that connections will only happen in a model view part. Okay. So just don't get confused about things, like, because I have seen in the past, people stay in a table view and they say, I don't see the visualization pane. Why cannot see the visualization pane to create my report? Okay. So these things happens. So please make sure that you are clear about this concept. Report view, it will only help you to create a report with charts, graphs, text boxes, okay, graphics, etc. A table view, it will only show your data in the form of rows and columns. There is nothing else you can do with it. Okay. With model view, it will only help us to connect the tables with each other to build the data model. And finally, DAX query view, that is something which is for DAX. So it will only help us to write down the advanced DAX queries by using external software, by using external tools. Queries, and this is DAX. These are the views. Previously, if I would have asked this question 4 months back, and if I ask you how many views are there, so your answer would have been 3. But since May version, I guess, May or June's version, now there are 4 views. That is, DAX query view is also added in the Power BI desktop. Okay. So nowadays, whenever in future you are going and giving the interview, so this is also one of those that is getting added. Okay, that is added in Power BI desktop software.
What does this external tools mean in DAX query view?
So external views are, if you have heard about DAX Studio, there is a concept called tabular. I don't know the next part, but DAX Studio is one of the external software. So these are supporting softwares, which is going to help us optimize our DAX queries. So when your DAX queries goes beyond 5 number of rows, suppose, like this is just example I'm giving, 5 number of rows or 6, 7 number of rows. So in that time, you are going to use this DAX Studio kind of a software, which will help us to follow the most optimized way of writing the DAX query. So every time you will run that DAX query, it is going to show you how much seconds, how much time it is going to take to give the like query result out of it. Okay, so this software, these are the external software which helps us to figure out how we are standing with our DAXs. Okay, so like this is there in my system. Like I have installed it some time back just to learn it, but I will show it to you. Like how does it look and what exactly I'm talking about here. Okay. So after types of view, what is there? Like what have I forgot in the process? There is something for first of all in get data. That is the very first part, and we learned what do we learn in this. We have seen for web. There is a Excel file, text and CSV, MySQL, and there is one more, I guess, Google Sheets. So these were the platforms that we have used. Correct, Supriya. Google Sheets. So this process for us to get the data from different places. After get data, we have started using Power Query Editor, which is the second process. And in Power Query Editor, what has been done so far? What do you remember about Power Query Editor? Last lecture, there is only one lecture has been finished. What are the things that we have seen? Overall interface. Adding a new column. And those new columns says add index, then add custom column, add a conditional column, and there was one more, add column from example. Okay, so this is my add new column feature that we have seen in the last lecture. Along with that, there is something that I have seen. What exactly? Data type change, correct? Data type format change. Filter the data. Filter or sort. Okay. Page elements like header, ribbon, correct? So page interface, like overall interface, contains ribbon, then queries, then there is a applied step section called as query settings and applied steps. What is next? Header ribbon, there is a formula bar as well. Ribbon, queries, query settings, applied step, formula bar, and main canvas. Canvas means current view. Let me write it down as a current view. Yes. So status bar is your formula bar where you see like whatever the steps we are performing, you will see something in writing. So that formula is been written there. One more concept that we have forgot about get data. What is that? What do you remember? There is one thing that made you too confused after that topic. What is the need of add index? Is it a primary key concept? No, we have not started about primary key yet. I just showed them like how to add a new column. So adding an index column and the purpose, we just have talked about it. There is no primary key concept yet that I have talked or told about. One more question, that is query folding. So query folding, we are continue and talk about it in future lectures. Or in today's session also, there will be one page where you are going to find the query folding and you can understand that. Correct, Gaina. The topic is storage modes. That is also called as connectivity modes, can also be called as storage modes. As the word suggests, either you connect it in that way or you are going to store it, store your data in that way. So my connectivity modes are first, what is the first one? That is import mode. What happens in import mode? It is important topic. Import connectivity, like connectivity modes, that is important topic. Yes, Ashutosh. Okay, yeah, I saw you unmuting yourself, that's why. Okay. Import mode, direct query, and there is this composite, which is dual. So import mode represents you get the copy of the data in your Power BI, Power BI desktop. Okay, this is your import mode. Okay, you are taking the data from someplace and you are getting copy of it in your Power BI desktop. That is your import mode. It compromises the data. Wrong spelling. Compromises the data. It compromises the data. You share the file, data will also get shared. Will get shared too. Direct query. It will only create the link between your data, your source data, to your report. So every time you run any DAX query, the data gets fetched from the source location. So slower in process, but it is there, but effective for big data sets. This is faster in process, but for small and mid-size data set. Okay. And composite means your model will have both import and direct query scenario with the tables. Scenario. All right. So I think I have covered all the pointers that has been done so far. Do you remember anything else? It is going to be used for you guys only. We are going to continue writing our notes. Anything that we find something useful, important during our lectures, and we are going to add that as a special point for us, like for everybody. So whichever the thing that you think that is important, and even that what I think about it. So this, like those pointers, I will write it down in my notes here. Okay, so anything that you remember or we forgot, suppose? Okay. If I remember something, I will add it from my side as well. But if you guys remember, so do tell me about it. So that is about it. That is overall remove and adding the columns. Sorry. Remove or keep rows. Cool. So I think that is it from my side. This is all I could remember about. Yes, transform data means Power Query Editor. So it is nothing but transform data. You click on transform data and it is going to open Power Query Editor. All right. So this is your overall notes. We are going to keep using it. We are going to keep writing it down in future lecture for future lecture purposes as well. Anything that you remember, anything that you think that you are going to use it or you are going to need it, suppose, so we are going to add that. So handling null values, I want to do it properly in the class, Ashutosh. First, I want to give you some examples and the scenario. That's why I have not mentioned it as handling null values. Okay. Data source setting, correct. And where should I add it? So data source setting, let's mention it here. Data source setting is, it is to check and maintain the source connection of your data with your report. There is one image I have kept with me. See, I don't know if it is visible properly or not. Why is this opening in Paint? Open with. So this is something about data source setting. That's a good idea, Gaina. So see, there are multiple ways how your data source settings can open. You can go directly to the home and there is a transform data. You have to click on that and it is going to give you data source setting like this. Other than that, data source setting is overall a important topic. In overall way, it is important because it is going to maintain your data connection. If your data is not refreshing, if your connections are interrupted in because of something, you will not get the latest data because of it. Okay. Through Power Query editor also, through applied steps, every other process, you are going to get the data source setting. Okay, data source setting, you are going to find out how that uh, data is coming from where that data is coming to your system. Okay. So this particular image, I will share that in our today's session content. But data source setting is also one of the important topics. If your data is interrupted because of something, you will find this. You will find the reason from this place. Yeah. So that is it. That is, I guess, with all the pointers. If anything else you remember, I will write it down. Let's take a second. Let's take couple of seconds to remember, or if you like, if you remember anything that we are missing it here. If not, then we are going to start talking about the interview questions on this. The plan, the idea behind it, like why I kept, why I talked about this all and why I have made these notes, because I wanted to use this when we will answering the questions for interviews. Okay. So there will be one question, like there will be three couple of questions for interview, and even if you have any scenario with you, so that also we can talk. But please make sure we are talking about the same topics. Okay, that is been done so far. Okay, because there are a couple of people here who is having more knowledge about the concepts and scenarios, but not everybody is having the same ideas. Okay. Can we get to see how direct query works in a SQL as a data source? If you have a SQL data source, so do let me know. Like I don't have it actually in my system, so that's why I couldn't show it to you with the direct query. But if anyone is having a SQL server and it needs to have their connection actually with systems. Even in the personal system, we need to have the direct query connection pattern. Let me figure it out. Let me talk to you in person. Like I know a couple of people are having SQL Server in this batch. So let me see with their system and if it is ready to use or not. And I can ask that person to share, okay, in coming lecture for direct query. So, but do remind it to me again, Ashutosh. Like I will probably on weekend only. I will talk about it with them, and I will make sure like I will be ready with this one. Chalo. So the finally topic has started about overall special session, and the idea is we are going to understand this many topics with respect to interviews and with respect to PL300. So business intelligence, Power BI, data source setting, get data connectors, and storage modes and connectivity modes. On this topic, what are the questions that are there? Okay? That is where we are going to, that is what we are going to see. Okay, so Kumar Nishan says one question: how to know the database name in MySQL? So that that will be given to you. You don't have to figure out. And even if you don't get it, still then also you can see that name in your Power BI sorry, you can see it in your Microsoft Excel. What I am talking MySQL, sorry, in MySQL. Exactly, it is going to show you. You open that. I have showed you in my system. Now MySQL I have. So if you open MySQL Workbench, mm, it's opening. Just give me a moment. So this is the very first interface it shows. This is the local instance. That is the account I have to open. Root and this part. So this overall my database and sys. There are the system files that MySQL is going to keep. And under my database, this is the database name. The icon in front of my database is different. If I open it further, they are going to have tables. So sales data, these are the tables that we have. There is a concept of views, stored procedure, and functions. So everything is having different views, like how those data looks like. So just for the example in the class, I have kept the couple of, like there are just two tables right now. And if I open, if I like run this, so I can see like what is the data inside it. So that's how we understand it. And there is no rocket science. Like it is most of the time, your manager is going to give you this is the database, this is the server name, this is the table you have to use, etc. Or if you have the access of this database location, suppose you can go to it and this is in front of you only, like that is there directly. There is nothing extra to learn or understand about. Okay, so let's start with the questions. Let's understand. Let me give you one suggestion about this. Don't try to go with the very technical answers. Okay, think about it logically. Everything that we have understood, sometimes you will find that this is not we have talked, but logically what can be happening. Okay, if you like the logical explanation I'm talking about, if you are having a size of 6 with your like if you are suppose if you are wearing, if you are used to wearing a size of M clothes, and you are buying something of the size of S, what is your logic behind it? In one thing, either you are going to return that or you are going to exchange the size with the M or L as per you, right? This is the logic behind it. You are not going to think about the theory like अब मैं करूँ अब मैं क्या करूँ अब मैं क्या करूँ, correct? You have to wait. You cannot just keep it as it is. Either you are going to return or exchange. That is the logical thing you are going to do next, correct? So think about it logically. If there is a scenario with Power BI at the moment, it says the size is too big to handle it by the Excel file. So what can be the next possible option for you? So the common sense is we can go with the databases system, because databases are meant to be handling for the big data size, correct? So think about these questions logically. I will not talk about anything. I will give you 1 or 2 minutes. You raise your hand one by one. You give your ideas, like what can be the possible solution. Okay. So I hope you guys are ready. I will like show the first question here. So first of all, we will talk about scenario based. You can take your time. I will stop for a minute. Raise your hand once you are ready to answer it. Okay, but don't like just don't say it anything randomly. Think about it logically. If you want to Google search in the background, you can do that. But think, like, don't take it too much of time as well, right? There are multiple questions we have to check. So here is our first question. How do you work with the large data sets in Power BI? In Power BI, we are talking about here. Okay. So if you are having a too big of a data set, 10,000, 1 lakh, million number of rows. Okay. So how are you going to handle it? Think about it in all the aspects. Okay. Like from the data source point of view, from the Power BI optimization point of view, what should be happening if you are using it, how to like fasten your process, suppose. Think about it in all the ways. So how do you work with the large data sets in Power BI? Okay, I'm giving you a couple of minutes. Whenever you are ready, raise the hand. Okay. Whoever wants to talk, raise the hand. I will not take it one by one. I will like let everyone join at least 1 or 2 hands, and then I will ask you to answer. So it's 8:58. Um, Let me give you 1 minute. Think about it as a interview process. If you are in an interview process and how much time you are supposed to take and stuff. Exactly at 9 o'clock. It's 8:59 now. Either I will start giving the answer or you have to raise your hand. Even if it is wrong, that will be okay. But try to think. But try to think about it with respect to Power BI with logic. क्या होना चाहिए? Okay, Ritu, Ashutosh, Chitra. Okay, 3 people have raised their hands. Neha, cool. Okay, I have 4 people so far. Exactly 9. Chalo. So Ritu, you start.
For handling large databases in the Power BI, we should have a direct connection. We should directly connect it to the database instead of importing the data.
Correct. Correct. That is right. Direct query is the option. Once the direct query connection happens with your report, what are the other possibilities? Like even what if you see when it is a corporate project, your data keeps changing. Okay, your data keeps changing and it keeps getting added day by day, every minute, every day on that basis. And you probably you have the data of last 5 years. It is going to show the huge database in front of you, even in the format of direct query. So what do you think? What can be the further course of action?
We
Like
can
you
put
don't.
filters.
Yeah. Yes. Yes. Yeah.
We can put filters to refine the data.
Correct. One of the feature. Correct. Perfect. Next. All right. That is 2 points that Ritu has given direct query, and we can use the filters. Next, Ashutosh, please give your ideas. What do you think?
I was thinking of only filters. So,
Hmm. Only filter part, but that is also right. Filter thing is very good idea to use. If, as I have already talked about it during Power Query session as well, whichever the part you don't need, whichever the columns, table, whichever the column, table, rows you don't need for the long purpose use, it is okay that you are going to hide it out or filter it out. Okay, that is perfect. That is one of the solutions. So 2 solutions we have got. That is
or
first of all,
is there any way that we can automate in some way that we cannot use that we don't have to use filter? Like if the new data comes or if new updated data comes in our system, so
hmm.
we don't have to like apply filters. So is there any way that we can automate?
So we can talk about it with the client, like what is their important data from which point of time and the future. Okay. So after that point, like for example, you have 10 years of data, but they know and they want that after 5 years, like this is
Mm.
24, so suppose 29 and moving forward, that's all data they want to see. So we can filter it out with respect to that year and time. So we will make sure that with 2019, we are showing the data moving forward. In future, if they sometime ask like I need data from 2014, 2015 as well, so we can remove that filter and we can see the data from past as well, even before 29 time. So we can do that filtering option. That is right. Yes, Chitra, you have the first hand raise.
After using the direct query, we can use the unnecessary columns which we don't require for the analysis. Then we
Correct.
can use the Power Query editor
Hmm.
to transform the data.
Okay, there is something that she has mentioned which is wrong. What is it?
She has mentioned that in direct query, she was going to transform data, which we cannot do when we are on direct query.
Right. So that is something people like employees, interviewers can catch. If you are using direct query, there is no table view and there is no connection. There is no transform data or Power Query editor feature you can follow. Okay. So the thing that idea you gave about the filtering or anything that we don't have to use, everything we have to do at the data source location. Okay. So that data source part is correct for you, but it will not happen from transform data. Okay. Anything else, Chitra? Any other idea?
No, that's all.
Okay, cool. Yes, Nishan, what is your ideas to solve the big data, large
Yes.
data set?
So it will only happen if we are on direct query, because import will only accept I think 1 GB of data. So when we are on direct query, we are fetching data from some databases. Then if there are 100 columns of data, and for a particular project we need only 10 column of data, then we can use select A1 column, A2 column, A3 column, applying all those filter steps, writing SQL query. We can get only desired data, so that the data size, when we are directly querying it in some databases, it will be less.
Right. So these are the 2-3 points. First of all, we have to use the direct query mode. Second of that, we can use this filter part. You from the data source location only you can filter out the data. Okay. Let me write down these pointers also. So first of all, you guys mentioned something about direct query. Okay. For the big data we are using. Second, we started talking about filtering the unwanted columns and rows. Okay. After this, these are the 2 pointers. Like on an average, everybody has said the same thing. Anything else that you guys have said and I'm not writing it down here? These are the 2 pointers so far. Is there anyone having any other idea? Arun sir has given 2 options, but let's see like how you have these ideas in your mind. Optimizing DAX query. We are dealing with large data set at the moment, so optimizing DAX, like we have yet to reach at DAX positions. So no, not about DAX, at least not yet, because we are just dealing with the data set, how you are going to manage or handle the data sets. If it is in crores, if it is in millions, billions number of rows, what you are going to do. These are just couple of items, but still, how much data or how much file is going to get reduced. All right. So the third position, as Arun sir mentioned, that is something about aggregation. Okay. Yes, Ashutosh. Do you have any idea to talk?
I have one question like about refreshing. So in data query, I think we don't have the option, or we like don't have the privilege to refresh. I correct?
With what you said?
In data query,
Direct query.
direct query. Sorry, yeah, direct
No,
query.
no, we have the option with this one as well. We can refresh the data.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you.
Like sometimes your data, if you find your data is not updated that moment, like it usually updates itself. But if sometimes like we continuously update, we continuously make changes, and even for Power BI query editor also, like for direct query also, it takes some time considering the huge source of data. So till the time it loads the data which is at 5 minutes back, there is more data that is coming up. So you always have to keep loading it so that you are with the latest data. So yes, we can click on a refresh button and the new data will be there. Okay.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
All right. So third option is here, that is aggregation, as Arun sir mentioned. So aggregation represents, let me give you the idea about it. I don't know if I will able to draw it properly or not. Okay, let me use this one only. So what happens, you have a data, suppose, and that data is in the format of date. Okay. On the every basis of date, on every day basis, you are getting that data. Okay. And that is for last 10 years of data. And there are like number of rows that is following up. That is your date column. And that date column is keeps going to add up on basis of every day. In that scenario, what we will do, if there is a data from last 10 years, we can aggregate the data on the basis of monthly level or yearly level. So what do I mean when I say aggregate? Aggregate means combine the data on the basis of higher entity. At the moment, it is at the date level. What is above date column? Like if you think about the hierarchy, what is above date with respect to the time period? Week. On the basis of week, month, quarter level, year level, correct? So these are the options that can go at the higher level. Okay, week, quarter, month, year. So the data that you don't need, but you think like client is going to ask. So the data which is going to be there, but you don't want to show it on the basis of daily level, daily basis. You just want to show the data on a daily basis for current year, and all the past years can be shown in the monthly basis or yearly basis, sort of that. So this is where you can do the aggregation of your data. So what I will do for this date column, okay, only for like it's up to us, like whatever our requirement is. So suppose I'm just casing the scenario here, like only for current year I will keep date level data, and all the past, suppose all the past 3-4 years I will keep monthly level data. I will aggregate it to do monthly level data, and even past that, like even before 4 years we can do. So almost 5 years back data will be collected or will be aggregated on the basis of yearly, suppose year or quarter, whichever you want, year or quarter. So what we are going to do, the number of rows which were there, we are combining it together on the basis of quarter, year or month. Okay, this is the option. There is this possibility that we can do with Power Query Editor if we are using Power Query Editor, suppose. But at the moment, if we are with the direct query mode that we already have established, so we can do it with the databases as well. And that's why we have to have the understanding of SQL Server and SQL languages, suppose. So the purpose of using group by function, so that the half of the data is in the format of group by. So like one scenario you can do, you can divide the data. As Ashutosh mentioned in the very beginning, you can filter it out for certain time, and every data, all the data till that point of time, you are having in the date format, like the same, like this as it is. But every data before that, like if it is greater than 24, like 23, then everything which is less than 23, 2023, suppose, you can collect that all and make sure that is either in the year format or monthly format. You can use the group by feature, or you can aggregate it accordingly, or with respect to whichever the quarterly basis or monthly basis or yearly basis format. Okay, is it making sense, like what I am talking about? Think about it logically at the moment. We do not have to understand it practically how it's done right now. But if somebody is asking you during interviews, like how to handle large data sets, so these are the possible options. Does it make sense? Logically, don't think about how practically it's supposed to go, but logically, does it make sense how you are going to reduce the size of your data for your reporting? Okay. Any questions about it? Supriya mentioned, is it like date occurrence in conditional formatting in Excel? Conditional formatting, it is like a filter option in Excel actually. The same, I will show like next time when we will open Power Query Editor, I will show like how we can do the date level filtering. But if you are talking about it in SQL, so that is straightforward. You can use group by function, you can use where clause and give the greater than 2024 year of date, that is greater than 2024, something like that. Okay. For this answer, I have also mentioned like that everything in proper theory. So this is your answer. First of all, challenges are of size of the data. First, we can use the subset of data, like this. These are the options basically what we can do. So first of all, we can use the subset of data for development, and later we can go ahead with the complete data after the production or after the deployment part. So it means if you are having billion number of rows, you are only going to use some part of it, like last 5 months or last 6 months kind of. You create your report in that way. You don't have to always use complete data for yourself. Just use the subset of it, the smaller portion, and then remove the filter and like let it flow for all the time in the past. That is one of the option. Second option you can do, if you are using Power Query Editor, we can do the aggregation. If you are not using Power Query Editor, we can also do it in your SQL Server. Okay, SQL Server. Write down that query like that. So what is the idea behind it? We will keep the data that we will actually need, and also the data which is very historic, we can do the aggregation of it well, of it as well. So for instance, if detailed transaction data is not necessary, means you don't need the data on daily basis, on every date level basis, what we are going to do, we might aggregate daily sales data to monthly sales data before loading it into the Power BI. Okay. And third, we can also use direct query mode, which is allows us to directly take the data from the underlying data source. Okay. So these are the different options that you can follow. Even if with the 1 GB of data options, with Power Query Editor, there is a possibility of maintaining and handling that big of a data. So if you are comfortable with Power Query Editor and you have the option to use Power Query Editor, then there is the second pointer, and the same pointer can also be used with the direct query mode as well. So that is also the options. Okay. Any question on this large data set concept? This is the question number 1 that can be the scenario based question for you during interview. At least you should able to talk about it logically the way we have talked today. Okay. Think about it. If you have any more ideas, please feel free to convey that probably during the next session or during the next special session sort of. Okay. Ready for the next question? Cool. Give me the thumbs ups. Already I got the first thumbs up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right. Next question. A client has approached you with a concern that the number in your Power BI report do not match with their expected value. Means what client is seeing in their report or from their point of sight, and the data that you are showing on your report, these numbers are not matching. Okay, that is their concern. Given this scenario, what steps would you take to identify and resolve this issue? Please outline the ideal steps you would take to ensure data accuracy and address the client's concern. So basically, your data that you are showing on your report, the numbers that you are showing on your report, and the numbers that client knows about their business, they are not matching. For example, on certain day, you are showing on your report there are like 900 orders has been placed, but client knows there are 1000 number of orders. So how do you find out the issue in this scenario? What's supposed to happen? What can you do to get the final to get the problem solved in this case? Let's take again 1 or 2 minutes, think about the scenario and raise the hand once you are ready. Okay, Kumar Nishant has given the hand first. Next, you have couple of minutes, think about it. And like don't always think of, like if you want, don't think about it in a practical way like how technically we can do, but logically kya kar sakte hain? What do you think logically? Or just use common sense, like if you want to figure out like how the data is different, what can you do? Okay, 1 more minute. Sometimes when your answers doesn't match, when you are giving the exam, when you are solving the problem, mathematical problem suppose, and your answers doesn't match with the final answer from your answer sheet and the book, maths book, so how do you tally? We always have done this stuff like all of our lives. You just have to follow, you just have to think about the same pattern here. At data level, how will you do? Arun sir has given some ideas. Think about it if they are going to be used in this case. Okay, Neha has raised the hand. Chitra, chalo, let's begin. And I will have to go with Neha first because Nishant, you are already very experienced with all of these questions and concepts. So you already know the answer, like most probably. So let others who are very new to this topic, let them answer first, and then I will take your question. At the end, I will take your answer. Okay, please don't mind about it, but you are having more knowledge about this concept than other. That's why. Okay. Yes, Neha.
So yeah, for first I would ensure that the client's data is being correctly updated
Hmm.
in source database from which Power BI pulls the data.
All right. So that is refresh is like it is a latest refresh basically, है ना?
Yeah.
Okay. 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 Anything else?
Uh, Next, we will check about the like if there is any filter is selected or not. Like we will ensure in clients Power BI's page that if any filters are selected or any other things are done by them. So yeah, we will check filters also.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, for now I can think these points only.
Cool. Both of those make sense and both of those are correct. We can, like, logically speaking, we can talk about it in front of interview. So both the pointers are right. All right. What more? What next? Um, Next, yes, Chitra, you raise the hand then.
Yeah, I will also first say that find out whether any discrepancy in the data.
Hmm.
Uh, then understanding issue with the client
Mm-hmm.
regarding calculations. Um, yeah, then refreshing the data while presenting the data, whether the data is refreshed or not.
Hmm.
Um, um, yeah, that would be and any date issues.
Hmm.
As I told, the discrepancy in data, whether the right time zone is selected, whether the like
Hmm.
data for the time date issues. That would be from my side.
Okay. All right. Date time zone. They are the two new pointers that we have encountered right now. Ashutosh, I thought you raised the hand. Do you want to go? Yes, go ahead.
Yes, I was thinking about the same point. Like we have to rerun those numbers to
Mm-hmm.
see like where is the miscalculation happening. So like if we like if the client does not have the correct data
Mm-hmm.
or correct code, so we have to recheck those calculations
Okay.
also. So yeah, that is the only point I had in mind. So I think
Okay.
we
Cool.
discussed that in the understanding session. Right.
Right. Right. Okay. All right. Yes. Yes. Nishant, you can go next.
First of all, I'll have confidence in my work. Then I'll go and check at the source that what their source data is up to, and whatever pointers my colleagues have friends have sent. I'll go with all those pointers. Then I will check whether there is some issue in my Power Query by going through Power Query steps. I'll check my dash calculation if I have done any.
Hmm.
These will be my routine checkup if the source data is if my stakeholders requirement is not matching.
Right. Okay. That those were your points.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. So DAX calculation, that is one new point that we got from Nishant. But uh, there is at the end of the day, when you have figured it out, like one more point, like these are all the correct options, the correct features that you guys have said. These are all completely valued scenarios when you are going to, uh, like these are all the valued scenarios which can be possible and that you are supposed to follow to get the final checkup. Okay. And the latest refresh data is up to date. That is very first point, because sometimes your data is from somewhat in the couple of minutes past in the time. Suppose, see what happens usually, real time scenario. A client is not going to be in touch with you for time to time. Like they are going to say like on 26th of July this happened, so why you are not finding the same numbers? They are not going to go with the every minute to minute checkup. When they do the cross checking, when they do the validation of their data from their side, they do from some time in the past. Okay, so they will do couple of different checkups. That's how I used to get my validation check. So they used to send us, like suppose 23rd of May from 21st of January. So they will take different dates. On that different date, what is my report is showing them the numbers, and what is their count on their platform. Okay, that is their platform is, that is where the data source is coming from, right? So their data is never wrong. If there is issue, that is means from my side only. So their data source location where they are taking the data from 23rd March or 21st of January or any other point of time, those points, they will expect us to get the same numbers from our report as well. So those dates and my date. Usually the refresh is not the scenario, but we are supposed to do the refresh as well. That is not wrong. But I'm just telling you, sometimes when they are going to do the validation, it will not be for the current time. Okay, because obviously they will send the mail yesterday and we have to check it today at 9 o'clock. So how will we be like latest time, time to time? But still, pointer is right. You can refresh the data. You can say that point, like we will make sure date time is on, like we are at the perfect data, up to date data. Next, the point that we have mentioned, filters or any other selection check. So this we have to clarify again with the client if they have made any filters when they were checking it from their platform and the data that we are having. So were they using any particular filter? And accordingly, we will cross check with it with our report. If they have given the filter of suppose weekdays and holidays, suppose they will give the filter of employee types, full-time employee, contractual employee. On that basis, probably they will get the different data. So filter concept, we have to make sure from them how their data is coming from. Next, understanding the issue with the client or formula. So if both the things matches, then of course formula and the calculation we have to think about, if how their calculations is getting performed and how we are using that formula in our calculations in our report. Any data time zone, this is most common issue. Trust me, I used to handle like the like I was from India, my client, like my direct client was from Australia, and his clients are from New Zealand and UK. Okay, so most of the time zone was the main issue. The data that we used to store was from different time zone, and that's why, because of this 6-5 hours of difference, most of the cases, so the data we used to get at the random dates. So if it is supposed to be 100 orders from 26th July, we will get only 70 orders, and remaining 30 orders will be calculated for the next date. Why? Because the time zone was not matching. So that is one of the most common issue. We can mention that as well. DAX calculation cross check. So that is actually similar to what we have said in a formula calculation. Finally, at the end, if nothing is matching, everything is sorted, you have done all of it, but still it doesn't match, then that is where we have to do the row level validation. So how does we do this row level validation? So row level validation happens, you get the data, like you ask your client data. Suppose they say like there are 100 orders. You are going to ask them, give me the date ID, like date column, order ID, and the product and the amount, whatever the remaining columns are. But you have to get one ID which is primary key, or which is a concrete key which is going to be there in their profile, in their platform. You are going to take that data and you are going to fetch the entirely same data from our report. So if they are checking it for 23rd of March, so I will ask them to take the all 23rd March of orders, and I will take it from all of it from my system, like from my report, and I will do order ID by order ID. So if my order ID is there or not in my system and in their system. How do I do this validation? That is a row by row checking. And how do I do it? I do it from Excel. Okay, so I will copy everything that client has shared, like all the order numbers from 23rd March, and I will copy all the order from my data that is in report. And I will check if this order ID and this order ID is matching or not. So that is where your knowledge of Excel also comes into the picture. Why, as a data analyst, we have to have the knowledge of SQL and Excel? Because of this scenario. You never know which platform you are going to use to solve your cases. Okay, so even if you are using direct query, what we can do, we can take that data on your report page, you create a table and you copy that data from there. You can export the data from Power BI desktop. So you can take that data from there and you can use the platform's data or client's data that they have given for 23rd March or whichever the March you are using. Okay, does it make sense? And by that, row by row, you will figure out like which order is ID is missing in our case and in their cases. So that's how the differences will be found out, and you will of course going to get the final solution in that way. Okay, yes, Nishan.
I have a question. Suppose I have directly queried data from some database and working on Power BI. Can I export those data in Excel?
Yeah, that's what I said. Na, you are at the end of the day, direct query is going to show the table names and the column names in your report view. At the end of the day, you have to create the DAX formula and the visualizations through that. So you can create the table out of it as well. So you give the table, column name, what all the columns that you have to use. There are 3 dots at the corner of that table through which you can export the data. There is option to export the data. So you export it for only 23rd of March. You like you match that through the Excel file. You can do that. Okay. Does it make sense? Question number 2, scenario-based question. Is it making sense? Any question, any doubt on this topic? So time zone, that is where Neha asked about this question in the last lecture. How can we change the time zone? How can we maintain that? So I said like when we will start using DAX, we can create this type of a thing. Like this is my current time and what is my future time. Okay. So once we will do the data modeling or when data modeling and DAX, when this time comes, I will show you like how to change the time zone. Okay. Time zone, date time, like how to add the new date time. That's it. Okay. Any like how's your understanding about this question number 2? Any doubt? Do you find something wrong here or you have any better ideas? Anything? And this is all experimental, okay? You just have to get the final validation. You can follow any method. You can try all the possibilities. It is up to you. Like, give me the thumbs ups if you are fine with this topic and we can go for the question number 3. All right, I got the 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right. So you can see this answer on this platform as well. Let's see. So these are all the pointers, like actually we have talked about more pointers, but they are not all the pointers that you can see it here. The only new point that I have mentioned, that is row level data, but other than that, everything is there. Okay, data refresh and like actually we talked about more pointers than I have mentioned it here. Okay. So go through the slides also, go through the recordings also if you ever get this point. So row level data means row wise comparison. That's what I was talking about, right? 23rd March, all the order IDs and the data from my report and the data from platform coming from client. So all the order IDs one by one, I'm going to cross check. If you see there is a order ID number 10, which is in their account and it is not in my account. So that is where you have to focus your attention. So where is my order ID number 10? There will be not, we are talking about 23rd date. It will be hardly like max to max kitna jayega? 1000 number of rows, 10,000 number of rows. How many of them will be missing? Max to max 100, 200. So at least those 100 and 200 you have to figure out. So there will be not million number of rows total mein rahega. I am talking about pinpointing it to the one point. That's why we are talking about 23. Like any particular date. Or if you think even 23 date as well is giving you maximum numbers, maximum number of rows, then again reduce this size to particular hour. So 23rd March from 12 a.m. to 1 p.m. suppose. Only that period, how many orders are there? So you can even do that type of a calculation and figuring it out as well. Okay. Chalo. So the third question, this is the last scenario based question on this current topics. These are all interview type of questions. Okay. Question is, if you have an Excel file of 12 MB and you load the entire file into Power BI desktop, approximately what will be the size of the resulting PBIX file? Will the file size increase or decrease, and why? Very common questions. Many of my students in the past, they got asked about this question in their interviews. If you want to search about it, do search. There is a type of, there is one word that happens in the backend with this data, with this reporting. Think about it. Let's take 1 or 2 minutes and raise the hands whenever you are ready. Okay, so Kumar Nishan says it has increased in PBX file. Okay, all right. Raise the hand, what can happen, or you can type it down in the chat box. This is like objective question. एक तो बढ़ेगा नहीं तो नहीं बढ़ेगा. It will be increasing or decreasing. So what is your opinion? Okay, Arun sir says increase as well. Nishan says increased. Okay, others, let's take another minute. When we are creating a report, what do you think your report is going to do? It is going to increase your file or it is going to decrease? Supriya says it will decrease. Okay. In one of the lecture, you have shown the difference in size. Yep. Model information added. Okay. Increase due to transformation, modeling, and visualization. Okay. If only data is imported, then with no visual, no modeling, no DAX, no Power Query. Okay. Like, are you asking me the question or you're giving the answer, Nishant? Like I'm asking you all to think about it. You can, as I have said, you can Google it as well. It will decrease cause of a data compression. Okay. Okay, by the way, I have already given you this heads up that this session is going to go for a longer time than the usual. So I hope you are ready for with that. Okay, we are just halfway so far. Halfway nahi exactly, but we have done like 60-70%. But still I am telling you. Chalo, so let me give you the answer and let me show you about it practically. Okay. I have one data. Let me show it to you that in a file. I was working on particular data set actually. There was one challenge and there were almost 25 number of tables. Okay, let me show that desktop and there is this archive file. So what happens? There are this 25 number of files. You can see the data size. This is 110 MB. I hope this is visible to you. Fact strategy is 110 MB. There is this 401 MB. Okay. 250 MB. It is 1.15 GB. This is 346 KB, then this is 460 MB. So on an average, I can say this is almost 2 GB or 2.5 GB of a data file. I have not included dimension data as well. Dimension as in this data at the top. So you can see, I am just selecting only this many tables. And these are all the tables for one report. Okay. And if you check it out together, it is 2.31 GB of data. I was trying to do something with this data actually, but just think about it. There are 2.31 GB of overall data, and I have collected all together in this data model, the name of this file. And the size of this file is now 610 MB. Power BI is having, there is a particular concept called as VertiPack engine behind Power BI desktop, which helps in compressing the data. It's a huge, powerful part of Power BI that decreases the size. It compresses the size of data. even if I am having 2.31 GB of data with my report, okay, I can show, like I can open this file and you can see I have almost all the, like I have all the 25 number of files in it, and still the size of the file at the end of the day, it is 610 MB only. So you can see the level of compression it has done from 2.31 GB to 610 MB. Now, next part that Arun sir and Kumar Nishant has mentioned, like what if there is a DAX, Power Query editing, there is modeling and visual. Still, unless and until you are using images, you are using something which is outside from the report, it is not going to increase that much of data size. Okay. Bada ke, like how much it is going to increase at the end? You already have like 2.5 GB of overall files. Okay. Each of those files, you will see the tables in it. Every table, you are going to find out the table. There is this overall data model that I was trying to perform here. And the overall data is here. There is data model that has been done. There is a transformation that I have performed, but still it is 610 MB. So if there is a data, if people says like there is a 5 GB of a data, and what will be the scenario for you? So this is your answer. This is my practical case, and that's why I gave you this question actually. And I saw it someplace else also, like how, like what are the possibilities. So this is your, again, one of the interview question or tricky question they can say. So there is a concept called as vertipack, and it actually decreases the size of your file. It compresses everything that you are doing in your Power BI report. So you might think the size will increase, but actually it stays the same, or it, because of this vertipack, it is going to decrease. So when we import the data in Power BI, the PBX file size can be reduced by up to 10 times from the source data. Okay, whatever we are having. This is because in the background, the vertipack engine compresses the data by finding patterns and redundancies. And additionally, Power BI optimizes how the data is stored, further reducing the file size. So if somebody, just to trick you during the interview, if they try to ask you about this question, think about this vertipack engine, which is going to decrease, which is helpful to compress the data or compress the overall file that you are using. Okay, are we good? I kept this particular file, like I was working on it for different tasks, but I hope this, because of this example, the question is clear and the answer is clear to you as well. Koi hai, if there is anybody still says ki my size has increased, like I know Nishant has mentioned that his size has been increased with the particular assignment case, but it probably because of some other reason. Okay, it can be anything. But when we are having this big of a data, that time it has increased, it has decreased to this much of information. Okay, it probably with some reporting after that point of time. But we are talking about at the moment the data taking of 10 MB or something. Okay, give me the thumbs ups if you are good and we can move ahead. Or you have the question, suppose. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right. So these were all the questions related to scenario based. Any questions on the topics or the scenarios that we have talked so far? All good? Now we are having the topic we are going to discuss about. Yes, Sagar, we can talk about that as well. Just give me a moment. Let me download your file. Sagar. So I'm going to keep it in our today's data content file only. Okay, I guess we are left with the last 30 minutes of session. So if you want, do you guys need a break, or should we continue? Continue? All right. Sharing my file again. Folder, and where was I? This. So there is one question Sagar mentioned yesterday. So let me increase its size so that we will not see the answer. Okay. So there is this question asked during the interview. If answered all three possibilities directly, he or she is selected from my side 50%. Let's see. If your connectivity mode is direct query, you don't have data view, then how will you analyze data in PBI? One of the answer I already have given to you during our conversation today, but let's take a minute and think about the three different possibilities how we are going to check the data from direct query if you are taking the direct query, because you know table view is not there, you have no data, no idea how the data looks like. So what are the possibilities, what are the things that we can follow? Okay, let's take a minute and start raising your hands. We are talking about Power BI itself. Okay, start raising your hands, think about it. Okay, Neha has raised her hand. If you know how to use, then you can use, Ashutosh. But do you know if we can see the data like this? Like I have just mentioned DAX Studio today, but do you know if you can see the data from direct query through that? Yeah, I'm not going to say yes or no for that question. We can see it or not, but I'm asking it to you. All right. Yes, Neha, let's go ahead with you.
We can export the data to maybe Excel or CSV. You have mentioned in today's class only, no? From three dots we will export the data and we can.
Correct. That is one way. Okay? He is asking us to do three different possibilities. So that is one way, that is correct. So Neha has mentioned that we can take the data, all the tables, like if you have the table and all the columns, we can put it on the screen in the format of table, and we can export the data in the format of CSV file. Okay. So that is one way to see the data, correct? Any other idea do you have, Neha, right now?
No.
All right. But first option is correct. So two more guys. They wanted someone with DAX Studio knowledge. Okay. All right. Yes, Ritu.
We can see the view like relationship between the tables.
But we will not see the data. Model will be there, but model view through we can see the model. But what about data part? If I want to see the data between the two, not two, but any table actually. So how to do that? So let's think about it out loud. First idea, Neha mentioned that we can take all the data on the screen and we can export it and create the CSV file. Next idea, Ashutosh has mentioned by using DAX Studio, external tool. Probably we can write down some query or DAX and we can take the data and see the data. Okay. Like we are not sure as of now if DAX Studio is having that possibility or not, but let's see. Considering the fact it is a DAX Studio, maybe we will able to see the data through that. Okay, so that is second option. Third option, one thing that I can think about is we can also write down the proper DAX query Okay, that is DAX query engine, like from the DAX query view or usual DAX formula. And we can see like there is an option to create a table as well, to figure out the overall table or to figure out the overall view of the table. And we can export that data as well. That is also one of the options. Okay. One more option, you can export the data the way we have done it. And actually that one answer is given by them only, where they said like you can export the overall table visual and we can open that by using new Power BI report. So you can see the overall data and you can play around with that data. Okay. So remaining two options, they have said the same idea as Neha mentioned, that we are going to drag and drop it on the screen from the particular table, and we will check, we will use a filter and we will play around with it. Next, DAX query editor, or by using DAXs as well, we can get the top 100, top 1000 number of rows, and we can work with that. Okay, so just start small and you can increase the number of rows through this process. Okay, and finally, through the table visual again, we can export the data, and by exporting the data, we can import it through the, like we can use it in other report file to play around with it. So these are the options. सारे options थोड़े आसपास ही है, like they are just near about same, but there were the like different ideas that you can use. So mostly it is related to visual or it is related to DAX. Either you can visualize it or use the DAX formula to figure it out. ठीक है? We good about these questions? I will add this screenshot on our today's content, but does it make sense? And thank you, Sagar. Like that is definitely a good question. It can be asked, and I hope that help others to think about this possibility as well. Right? Chalo. So let's begin with the last PL300 part. So how does this exam looks like and what you have to be prepared about it? So PL300, it is your Microsoft certification for Power BI Data Analyst Associate role. It is all about Power BI and all the tools inside it. This slide will help you understand how this overall Power BI Data Analyst Associate certification happens. So overall 100 minutes of test. It is going to be the proctored test where somebody is going to keep checking, like looking at you. Okay, you will not see that person, but that person will continuously look at you. Even if you think about, even if you like move your head right and left, they are going to stop your session and they will ask you, like they will give you the warning basically. Okay. So all those 100 minutes, you have to stick to your screen. You should not have any paper, pen around you. You should not have any electrical gadget around you. It's supposed to be the complete plain sight. They are going to ask you to move your laptop 360 degree or camera 360 degree to check if you are good, if you are having anything around you or not. Okay, so it is very like it is very not difficult, but it checks all of those stuff very thoroughly. Okay. If you fail the examination, don't worry, we can take it after 24 hours. Okay. We can take it from home. There are two options. You can take it online or you can go for the proctored examination at the center points also. Check out the center locations if you have any place, but you can take it from home as well. And for the home option only, you can like move around. You have to show everything around you, and it will be more strict than I think. I like at least my side. I will say that it is more strict here, strict when you are doing it from home. Rather, you are going to the location. And need minimum qualification is with 700 marks. I guess around 1000 is the overall amount. Sorry, overall what overall marks, and out of that minimum 700 or greater than that. After failing, is it chargeable for first attempt? No, 24 hours is the capping. Like after 24 hours, you can take that exam again. That's what my understanding is so far. But if there is any new changes has been done, suppose if there is small amount to be paid or something, so I'm like I have to recheck that part again. But as I know about it, this is 24 hours of like a buffer time they give it to you, and after that you can give the test again for the free. Okay, but it doesn't mean like you can take it like n number of times. Yeah, we cannot take do it for n number of times. I guess it कुछ to be 2 times या 3 times का कुछ रहता है, and after that there will be 7 days or 8 days of charge. Yeah, after some time na single. Okay. Yeah, so Joey mentions that we need to pay for it again. So probably that part is changed. But previously it was, for example, to renew the certification, there is no charge. For me, every year I just have to give the test again, and there is no charge for it. Okay.
For
But for the
renewal,
first
it's
timer,
like a kind of open book test.
yeah, that
Uh,
is Microsoft Learn platform, right?
yes, and for the second time, we means like every other time when we are giving, we
Hmm.
have to pay.
Hmm.
Second chance will be in a 24 hours. Third chance will be in a week.
Hmm.
Fourth chance will be a month, and fifth chance. Total 5 chance we can give in an
Okay.
year.
Okay. So probably fifth chance will be around 6 months or something cap,
Yes.
right? Okay. Perfect. So that's how your flow is going to be. So if you are not able to like resolve it in 24 hours, so it is going to take the next one. Thanks, Joey. How much is the fees? Around $165 for USA and others. For India, it is around 4,000 something, but with tax and other stuff, it goes around 5,500 plus. Okay. So this is how your overall waiting period. Okay, thanks, Arun sir. You have Arun sir has shared that link explaining like 12 months, 24 hours, 14 days period, time period waiting. What are all these? What are the all topics that Power BI PL300 covers? So there are four important aspects. One idea, there is no DAX calculation. Extensive, like very hard DAX calculation will not be included. There will be a small portion of it, but it is not too much. The main focus will be on preparation of data. Preparation of the data means the process that we are understanding now, Power Query Editor part. So everything under Power Query Editor, everything under taking the data in Power BI desktop, all of these things represents preparation of it. Modeling the data, it will be another important topic which we will be covering in the next like next to next week. Visualization and analysis the process, and finally deployment. So deployment is about Power BI service. So that is of very lesser portion, but the main idea is from preparation, modeling, and visualization. These three parts. Under the prepared data, you are going to get all of these three items. All of these five items actually, all of these five subpoints. Identification and connection of data source. How do you know which data source we are supposed to use? That is the first topic. Changing the data source setting, including credentials, privacy level, data source location. That is another topic. Choosing between direct query import and dual mode. Select a shared semantic model or create a local data model. This topic is not yet done. That's why I have crossed it for now. And changing the value in a parameter. So parameter concept is also we have not done yet. That's why I have crossed it. But the first three pointers, they are the topics we have finished so far. I hope you have seen these words of like someplace in our today's session, in the past session, right? So I have even given you this link, Power BI PL300. This link will take you this particular page. Everything about this examination, what is the marks, what are the marks, syllabus, like how you are going to take it from which place. Okay, so they are going to give you all the information here. Okay, there is amount part as well. You can check it out from the link. And now here is the preparation of the data. Prepare the data part, or overall the topic. So this is overall get data in Power BI, prepare the data part of PL300. There are like 13 topics that we can include. Getting the data from the files, like how different file places are there and you can take the data from those locations. SharePoint folder, Excel files. These are all the file locations. We already have seen how the data has been taken from files. You have to get the source, you have to find the path where that file is, and you can take it again in your system. Okay, you can take it through that way in your system. So change the source file, go to the data source setting, check out the query setting, or advanced editors. So these are the places from where we can change it. After file path, we have the relational databases. Relational means database sources. Okay. So SQL database, Azure SQL database, MySQL. These are the option for the relational data sources. So they have given you like how we have to connect it with, what are the possibilities, how we are supposed to write it down, what items you are going to need to write it down, like what credentials basically. So how to write, like there is a SQL statement concept. If you want to just use number of columns, you can also do that. So this website is going to help you figure out everything about the first particular block, that is preparation of the data. There is about dynamics with the parameter. We have yet to finish this parameter topic, so don't worry if you don't understand it. Then we have NoSQL databases. Again, NoSQL database, it's just a part of like from where you can take the NoSQL database kind of a databases. That is Cosmos DB. That is one platform from where we can use it. How to take the JSON files. So they have also given this like overall tutorial like how to perform that. Online services. Again, another one. Storage mode. So that is where our import, direct query, and dual. These are the three options that we have seen. How those looks like. So import, direct query, dual. I will show you where this location is present. But these are the three modes, storage modes that we usually use. Okay. There is one particular mode which is not the which is not always there out of these three. That is the live connection. There is one mode which is called as a live connection, and that is only available with Azure Analysis Service. Okay. In PL300, this is one of the important questions. Azure Analysis Services is going to be used for the live connection of your data. Okay. So it is only, this is, I guess, this one and also one of the other one. There are only one or two connectors which has the possibility to connect the live data with your report. Okay. The way we have seen import and direct query option at this particular place here, you can see that here. Import and direct query we used to see, but right now it says connect live, and that connect live is only with Azure Analysis Service. And there is also one more that I don't remember right now, but mostly connect live is an option only for Azure Analysis Service. It uses the tabular model and DAX to build the calculation and support similar to Power BI. Okay, so this is DAX formula, and this is connection live. Live connection means like you are connecting live, connecting the overall data in a live format, similar to direct query method only. Okay, similar to relational database, you can choose the tables that you want to use. If you want to directly query as analysis model, you can use DAX or MDX language. Azure Analysis Service can have the fast refresh schedule, which means that when data is refreshed in the service, Power BI reports will immediately be updated without the need to initiate Power BI refresh schedule. Means you do not have to click on a refresh button. If you are having analysis service, online analysis service as a connector mode, it will immediately show the reflection on your Power BI report. You do not have to wait, or you do not have to click on a refresh option. This process can improve the timelines of the data in your report. Okay. So this is slightly different than direct query, because direct query is real time or near to real time, ऐसा बोलते हैं. But this particular connect live means it is 100% live. You are going to get the answers as fast as you can see. There is this query folding concept that Nishant has also mentioned in the very beginning of the class. I will suggest you to read it out once, and then we will discuss about it. This is something new and very theoretical to understand. So I will suggest you to go through this topic once, and you can check it out. Like we can talk about it further in the next special session about it. Okay. So query diagnostic, these are the optimization options. And with Power Query Editor, what are all the common errors that you are going to face? This is the page for that. Like all the errors that we are going to see with Power BI Desktop, this is what you are going to see. So first of all, there is a query timeout expired. This is first error. Power BI will keep asking or keep waiting for the data to come in Power BI, but there will be some time limit and it is going to expire after that. So that is one of the error. That is timeout expiration. Data format as a table, so data type mismatch, that is also one of those. Like date formatted as a table, you don't have the date formatted as a table. You don't find the file, your file location has been changed, so that's why you are not finding the file. That is also one of the errors. Then they have also given you how to solve that. Data type error, so if your data type is different than what it's supposed to be, so that is also one of the type of error. Okay. At the end, you will find the test like to give. There is also this lab. We can perform it live as well. And finally, the questions. Okay. Think about it, how to solve. What do you think when connecting to a SQL Server database to get data? What language should you use to extract the data? What can be the answer? These are 3 questions. Give me the answers for question 1, 2, and 3. Okay, people says question number 1 is TSQL. Okay, you just give your options, like give your answers, whatever you think, and I will select the answers accordingly. I went through this documents, like I just ran through these documents at the moment, because they are their documents which is available for all. You can go through it by yourself once. And if you don't understand anything, please come back to me again about any topic. Okay. Live connection, T-SQL, okay. I can see T-SQL and live connection so far. Okay, another minute to check these answers. I will select the options otherwise. So that is available in the slides only, Nishant. Let me share the slide. You will get the links. Or I can just give you this one. Chalo. So the first answer you guys said TSQL. You are creating a Power BI report with data from an Azure analysis service. I just talked about it. When the data refreshes in the cube, you would like to see it immediately in the Power BI report. How should you connect? So with Azure analysis service, you have connection live connection option. So that's what we will select. Why? Because we want to see the data immediately. What can you do to improve performance when you are getting data in Power BI? So should we remove unnecessary columns and rows? Should I go with the export databases files to CSV to load, or combine data and time columns into a single column? So the most appropriate answer here is removing the unnecessary column and rows. So if I check my answers, so let's see. So they are all correct. You can see the extra explanations about it. This will reflect the cube changes immediately. Always use the least amount of data needed for your project. Okay. Even with the slides, you are going to find couple of more scenario-based questions, like what PL300 has asked on those topics. Just try to guess the answers quickly. This is not scenario-based. These are MCQs. What questions, like what is the output, what is the answer out of it? You have a project management app that is fully hosted in Microsoft Teams. The app was developed by using Microsoft Power Apps. Okay. I have talked about it in the past when we were connecting the data, get data, when we were doing the get data. I hope you remember about it, but still, let's see. Finally, you need to create a Power BI report that connects to the project management app, which is coming from Microsoft Power Apps. Okay. Which connector should you select? Power BI report or Power BI desktop is different than Power Apps. So what do you think, which one of those data connector we should click or we should use, so that project management app, which is in Power Apps, like which is in Microsoft Power App, we can connect to that directly? What do you think? Question number 1's answer. Okay, people are saying Dataverse in the chat. If you think answer is Dataverse, then try to like Google search what is Dataverse, what is the purpose of it. If you think that makes sense as per the question, then that will be your answer. Okay. That was your question number 1. Let's see question number 2. For the sales department at your company, you publish a Power BI report that imports data from Microsoft Excel file located in Microsoft SharePoint folder. Okay. The data model contains several measures. You need to create a Power BI report from the existing data. The solution must minimize the development effort. Which type of a data source connector we should use? Focus on the words that says the data is coming from Microsoft Excel file, which is in Microsoft SharePoint folder. So answer is in the question only. So one of those options which says Power BI dataset, Excel workbook, Power BI data flow, or SharePoint folder. So answer can be and supposed to be SharePoint folder only. SharePoint, I hope you know, like SharePoint folder can also have Excel, like they can keep the Excel file and other data sources files. Okay, we will see the answers at the very end. Third question, again, you have a Microsoft Excel file in Power BI in Microsoft OneDrive folder. The file must be imported to a Power BI dataset. You have a OneDrive folder where you have the Excel file. You need to ensure that the dataset can be refreshed in powerbi.com. Which two connector can you use to connect to the file? Sometimes PL300 exams, like they give lots of information, but most of the time 80% of the information is useless. They just put there just to make you confused. Okay. So here in this question, the important pointer is first two lines and these two lines. Like which two connectors can you use to connect to the file? Each correct answer will present the complete solution. Like you will get the answer for every correct answer. You will get the marks for every correct answer. So we have the option for Excel file, and they said what are the options from where you can take that Excel file to your Power BI desktop. First answer is correct. Like there are two options actually. There are two methods through which we can take the Excel file. Excel workbook, that is one option. Okay, that is there. What are the other options through which we can do that? Okay, people says web and SharePoint. Okay. So Excel workbook, that is one answer. Let's see what is going to be the second answer for us. Don't forget we are with Microsoft Excel file and with Microsoft OneDrive folder. This time we are not with the SharePoint. We are with OneDrive as well as Excel. Okay, that was question 3, and this is the last question, I believe. From Power Query Editor, you attempt to execute a query and receive the following error message. Could not find the file. We just saw this particular error issue. Okay, like that was in a theory, but still. What are the two possible causes of this error? Each correct answer presents the complete solution. So there are 4 options. What do you think what has happened? And this when they said could not find the file. Okay, Prachi mentions point number 4. The reference file was moved to a new location. Correct. I think that's so as well. File moved from the location. Okay, correct. What else that can happen? Ashutosh says ki you do not have the permission to the file. Okay, that can be the case as well. An incorrect privacy level was used for the data source. The file locked. The reference file was moved to a new location. Okay. So I have got 1 and 4 so far. Anybody else? Privacy level is also incorrect. Sakshi says. File is locked. No, not all the 4 options can be possible. We are talking about path of that file. And you are not able to access it because you are not able to see it. Like your Power Query editor is not able to find that file. So what can be the case? Okay. So let's see the answers. We are going to see the answers. I hope the question number 1, it was very straightforward. It was asking us to do the Microsoft Power Apps. We have to take the data from Power Apps. So there is a concept called as Dataverse. And Dataverse means everything, Microsoft, Dynamic 365 and other, I guess, SharePoint as well. Everything under Microsoft, all of those platforms and all the data inside it, you can access it through Dataverse. So this is one common place from where you will access the data coming from Power Apps, Dynamic 365, and there is also one more option. So you can check it out, this answer from this particular link. You can you can go through this link from the slides. But Dataverse is the answer for you. If you have said the Dataverse, that is correct. Question number 2. Answer was SharePoint folder. The Excel file is located in Microsoft SharePoint folder, and that's why answer is SharePoint folder only. We have the option to connect with SharePoint folder directly. That's why. Question number 3. folder and Excel workbook, that is the answer. If you are having Excel file in Microsoft OneDrive folder, how will you access this file from powerbi.com or from Power BI desktop as well? So Excel workbook is correct. Option number 2 is folder. Okay, the correct answer is folder. How to do that? Text and CSV, obviously that is not the answer. SharePoint folder, again, that is not going to be the answer for OneDrive. Web, it is asking you that the data is in a folder. Okay, web option gives you, like in web option, you have to write down about the URL. You cannot talk about folder here. Either you have to write down the exact link of that particular file, but not with the folder part. So this thing will happen only with the folder option. You have the option for folder and you have the option for Excel workbook. With this two, the option number, like answer number 3 is there. Okay, if you have any more question, you can check out the folder connector and you will get the answers for it. Like where are the places from where you can use the folder. And finally, question number 4, the answers is 1 and 4th. Ashutosh is correct. You do not have permission to the file. The file access has been revoked from your end. And the second situation might be the reference file was moved. So I think that is it. That's all with the PL300 questions. I will share the file with you through Classroom. Go through the slides if you are preparing for it. If there are any more questions you find, suppose, feel free to share it with me as well. And yes, I'm open for the questions.
Hey, ma'am.
Yes, Nisha.
In my organization, we put our files of Excel or CSV on OneDrive, and I have not installed my OneDrive on my PC, so I have to go to that link, and that goes through SharePoint. That's why I've answered SharePoint. So
Okay.
ऐसा नहीं हो सकता है SharePoint?
Possible answers are with folder. I have read that document actually someplace. So folder connector, if you search about it. Thank you, Prachi. Very good night. Happy weekend. So you are focusing on Excel file at the moment, and that is not probably the one Excel file we are dealing with. There are probably more than one. And that's why when there is something Excel workbook we have, so one of the option that we can do is with folder as well. Let's see, like if there is, it is for ideas. Okay. But answer is supposed to be folder, and this second one is like Excel workbook
If
only.
you have
Let me see.
OneDrive in your PC, could you please connect 1 or 2 normal Excel file?
We can do it. See, it is not wrong. What you are saying. I am sharing that this is what like ideal scenario will help you access it through. I don't have SharePoint in my system. I have OneDrive, but still I'm saying the answer as per the standards like they have, as per their like as per the overall formula or overall connectivity scenario. Okay, so that's why Power BI PL3 and examination is there in such a way that you get confused with the question as well as with the answers. All right. Thank you, Rajni ma'am. Thank you, Nikhil. Go through the slides whenever you get time. If you find out the answer, you try to do it again. Suppose if there is another answer you find out, so that is also the possibility. And that is it. Stopping the share and ending the recordings.